this much gear.
Okay, folks, it's Babbageator. We're back here in the Long Dark. We're currently on day 37 of our challenge. You know nothing, Astrid. In which we are surviving on a survival code, custom survival code, which we know nothing about. Yeah, so you can check out what we're doing here. This stuff is curing. Might stick around just long enough to get a fully cured deer hide and enough guts to make this worthwhile. Okay. We got it here. 32. 48. 57. These guys not cured yet. Not cured yet. 32. This is 76, a little further on. 76, a little further on. Let's put these guys over here. They're on this right. $49. 95. This is a primo, almost done. 58, a little further on. 33, not quite as good. 58. Alright. This guy's probably not going to be done. Okay, what do we need to take care of here? We have some cloth. We have a couple broken arrows. I guess we could make some more fire-hardened arrows. That would work. Narrow shafts 5. Are we out of fire hardened arrows? I think we might be. Let's get us some more cloth and something. Okay. Let's see how it's... And the storm is back. Do we have enough sticks? I don't think we have enough sticks to make fire hard. Oh, we barely do. I want more sticks. I can hear them. Where are they? Are they up top? Yep, can't hear them. Hey, Roller! Thank you for the hydrate. How's your day been? Had a somewhat busy day. Spent the morning working on some Python projects. Spent the afternoon in class. And I zonked out a little bit after dinner, but I'm okay now. hopefully I got some rest in. It was unintended rest. I was like trying to relax, and I guess I over-relaxed. I kind of nodded off, but hey. Some odd Doom news image. Like, Doom the game? Oh, okay. Camera's acting up here. Hold on a second. We'll figure out what's going on. This happens sometimes. Yeah, you're right. Webcam has frozen. So, we'll do a little reboot here on the webcam. Restart it. Okay. We're back. There we are. Yeah, I think for my own sanity, I try not to... As much as I am kind of a news junkie, I try to not overindulge, because there's so much stuff happening out there. But it's also good to be informed. Hello, we can get up here. I think we just want to get enough sticks so we can make some more fire-hardened arrows. So we had a meeting on Zoom over the weekend with my group that's working on this project, this game project for the Python class, and we kind of realized, or at least someone pointed out, that we probably all have some. I think 2 out of the 3 of us are clinically diagnosed as having ADHD. I'm undiagnosed, but I think I just came from a generation where we didn't test for that, and I definitely have some tendencies that put me either on the autism spectrum or on ADHD, and some things I just didn't really think about as like things that I've been doing as like coping mechanisms or stimming mechanisms, and one of them that I used to do for a long time, and I don't really do it constantly, but it's just like a calming technique for myself, is to sit down with a piece of paper and draw gravel, like an entire stone-covered beach, where all I do is draw like hundreds of circles, or like ovals, like they're all separate river-washed or like sea-washed stones, and they're all interconnected, and they vary in size, and occasionally I throw in a piece of driftwood, and, you know, I'll just do this for like half an hour or something, and I don't know, it's just like, I never had a context for why I did that. I mean, I do have a little bit of an art background, so it's like, maybe it's just me, like, connecting to that art side of things, but, yeah, I was having this conversation with people over the weekend, I was like, you know what, that's probably what it is, why I've done that, you know, why I gravitate towards that. I know, like, working in the games in the programming field, that whether you had it before or you acquired it on the job, a lot of programmers have OCD tendencies, if not full-blown OCD. Two of the guys I worked with on a regular basis were diagnosed OCD people, that they had very, very clear, like, OCD things that were going on. You know, the hand washing thing, the food has to be prepared in a very specific way. You know, and just stuff like that. It's just hypersensitivity to certain things and structure, like wanting things to be really, 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 really like organized in a very particular way. Yeah. So for me, yeah, it's like, I don't know if... I feel like I'm one of those people that's probably... It's not... It's hard to say if it's been like a significant factor in, you know, has it ever impeded me in like achieving something. I wonder if it was part of my problem, like ADHD flare up in the end of my PhD. Was that part of the reason why, you know, was I just undiagnosed and having like major issues at the end of my PhD because I couldn't focus? And I just really probably should have been talking to someone about that. I don't know. But it was interesting to me nonetheless to think about it there. Yeah, I get the job done, right? So, like, for the most part, that's where I'm at. And, but I also wonder, like, are there supports that I missed out on? Yeah. I do suspect, like, now that I see my sister's kids, especially my oldest nephew, you know, I do think that my sister has tendencies. My oldest nephew is clinically diagnosed with some severe, significant, well, severe sounds wrong, but like some significant autistic, you know, full-blown autism in rather significant ways. You know, functioning, but also, you know, it interferes with some of his regular... He has to find ways to cope or to adjust. And sometimes he really, really struggles, you know. And then I suspect... I wouldn't be surprised my father probably had tendencies. Yeah, I think it runs in the family. Just... It's not the end of the world. It's just, part of the quirks of who we are, right? Okay. Okay, what do you want? Okay, so... Yeah, I don't think these are going to be cured before we leave, but we'll at least have one fully cured deer hide, and we'll have some guts that we can take with us. I think we might get these for... Maybe we can get a few others here. Oh. Yeah, only 13 days left on this challenge. Moving quickly. Okay, so let's once again figure out what do we really need. If we have only 13 days left, we don't need to carry all this stuff, right? So let's just accept that and put some things in here that we don't need. Do we need all these matches? No, they don't weigh much, but they're not necessary. So the wooden matches are the best matches. Let's just take yeah, this is plenty. We have no more pancakes. What is that? We're out of cooking oil. Okay. Well, that's life. A little bit more coffee. My dev team probably has more than 2 weeks. Yeah, we're scheduled. Final project presentation is on the 12th. Final delivery is the 16th. Most groups are have just done. We just did our proposal presentation. So for most of the other groups, they are just now starting to code. And we have a working prototype. So we are way ahead. And so we're we're super far ahead. There's definitely fine tuning to do. There's definitely code cleanup that needs to happen. A lot of commentary needs to happen in the code. And I do need to really thoroughly document and explain why I've chosen to implement things the way I've chosen to do so. Because there is some fairly... there's some advanced for the class type of solutions that I've put in there. There's also some complexity in terms of the level of customization and things I've added in, basically writing. So not only do we parse external files and use them to generate the objects, we also have within those files some of them contain scripts that are basically a pseudo scripting language that I wrote to then externalize some of the programming things so that I didn't have to make all these custom objects. I mean, I really could have, but we might look into that. But yeah, I think for this version, I'm going to probably keep it at this level. After the class is done, I'm going to rewrite the whole engine, probably not from ground up, but pretty close. Because I do think that there is a really interesting possibility that I could use this to write a much better game. Yeah. But yeah, bugs are our biggest concern, just because the greater the complexity, the more the chance that bugs are going to slip in. Oh boy. How are we doing here? 99, 99% guts on the wall. 99 guts, yeah. Okay, so the reality is we really don't need these hides. What else can we get rid of here? 13 days left. 10, 22. Probably get rid of these. Maybe. Gutsy. If we get parasites, we'll not live past, we'll not make it out of parasites, so that's a reality. We can drop some water, that we can do. Do we need all these fishing hooks? No. They don't weigh very much, though. We don't need all these flares. Do we give up on looking for a flare gun? Maybe we ditch some of these. Just take 4. Wolf comes around, knocks some guts down. 99% guts on the ground, on the wall. 78% guts on the wall. 81%. Okay, what else do we have? So, these two, do we need all these guys? Oh, was it? Let's drop our water here since we... No, we don't need all the water. Not 50. I really wish we had a travois. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we can hope. Hey, Super. Wow, big crew coming in. Thanks, Super, and thank you, Raiders, for showing up. Super is super.
Sorry, I ate cheese. Oh my. Oh my.
Yeah, we're doing well. We're on day, I think, 37, 38 now. 37. We have 13 days left in this challenge. If you're just joining us and unfamiliar with this challenge, this is what we're doing. We're doing You Know Nothing, Astrid. It is 50 days on a custom survival code produced by my randomized custom settings generator, which you can also check out here. There you go. In which we get a custom code and we don't know anything about it. We just punch it in, we don't look at the settings, and we start the run. And we just have to figure it out for 50 days. We figure it out, and we have to forge, we have to make a bow and arrows, and we have to travel to some place that is an exit, which would be opposite in some way of where we started. So we started in Forlorn Muskeg. That's pretty central. We decide that we've never been to Sundered Pass, so we're on our way to Sundered Pass. Yeah. So lots and lots of weird stuff. Yeah, and then if you're curious about who I am, I'm a writer. I'm also a former computer games programmer. And I'm a longtime TLD player. So I normally play a lot of interloper challenges. We did Misery recently, and we went 41 days of Misery with no bedroll and no bow. That was terrible. It was miserable. And then we died of food poisoning and starvation at the end. It was a nasty combination. Okay, the guts are cured. These guys might be done overnight. And these guys are not going to be done anytime soon. This one's almost done. We just want to make certain we have the ingredients to make a travois eventually. But yeah, this one so far has been pretty good. This is what we figured out so far. We started with high gear. So we had good gear to start with in terms of we had a bedroll, we had matches, and we had head and hands covered. So it wasn't great gear, but we did avoid frostbite. We did discover pretty early on that we have pretty good recovery while sleeping. That the baseline resource level, so loot, is high in the world. There's no birch bark tea, unfortunately. Blizzard frequency and wind variability, very high. I'm pretty certain it's very high. We usually get at least 1 or 2 windstorms a day and a blizzard every other day, I feel like. Freezing rate is low, passive wildlife is true. Their detection range is far, and I think the blood scent is also pretty high. So that means hunting has been very, very hard because things spook at such a long distance. We did find a rifle, but it's too heavy to take with us, so we're not going to do it. There are no wolves, which is a mixed blessing because gone are the easy prey for hunting and harvesting and cooking. But then you can also navigate through much of the world with very little concern about being attacked. Bears show up infrequently, and that's how we found out it was passive wildlife. I was carrying a bunch of meat around with me, and I heard a bear, and then he ran away. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess he smelt me and came closer, and then he ran away. The rabbits and deer seem to be medium. Moose we have not seen at all. I think we saw moose markings once, but that was it. Yeah, and so far we've gotten no frostbite, and we're not likely to get it. And then gear-wise, we are ridiculous. Look at this. Ridiculous. We got both the expedition parka and a military coat. We've got 2 fisherman sweaters. And yeah, we're rocking it. So. Oh, there is something else here. I forgot. That's not quite done yet. We want this rabbit to be done soon so we can go and fix our poor mitts. They're still fine, but... okay, so we got a little bit more time. What are we doing here? We want to leave, but we also want to make certain we make the best use of our time. And we've got to figure out how to manage our weight because we are way heavy still. This is not the culprit. This is not the culprit. Although we probably don't need to carry around any metal anymore. Yeah, what's the culprit? We got 3 working bows now. Yay. That's overkill, but I like it like that. You can hear the windstorm. Look at it. Just churn away outside. Making our life miserable. We don't need the wires. I mean, if anything, we could probably ditch some of these. Let's go down to 12. We really don't need torches, actually, for the most part, to be honest. Because we don't need to scare anything away, so... So food's pretty heavy. If we didn't want to lighten our load, we could drop salt and... At this point, this is dead weight since we don't have any more oil right now. But we'll hold on to it until it gets really annoying. Yeah, I think it's food. Food's our biggest culprit, 1287. And gear. Our gear is heavy. Okay. Happy to oblige. Okay. Let's see if there's any other scrap cloth we can use.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
Oh, and how many feathers? We're still at only 4. We could kill... We got a couple more, let's see what we got over here. Combat pants. Always makes me feel sad when I tear up clothing that is actually useful, but I just can't use it. Like, this is kind of cool, but it's actually useless to us. Okay, so what do we got here? We still don't have any tools. That's kind of annoying. Ropes here. We leave some cloth behind anywhere? Hacksaw, bonus hacksaw. Oh, I don't see cloth. Another piece of coal, we'll take that. Flashlight we don't want to carry because it's heavy and obnoxious. There we go. We already searched all this stuff. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we've made it this far without finding a toolbox. Toolkit of some sort. Oh well. Oh, we never searched in here. And there was never anything to look for. Okay. Okay, we are definitely leaving in the morning, I think. Take our party and run. I don't think we need line if we don't have a hook for it. That's our cured one. Just need these two to cure up, and then we're good to go. Well, we probably should take a few more. And we'll take these as well. So. Okay. Let's go for a big sleep. So I'm excited. Tomorrow, I think, is when my mattress is scheduled to arrive. So I can take that over to my new apartment and pull it out of its box and then wait like the 24 or 48 hours it takes to fully inflate. But yeah, so this weekend we get closer to... I was like originally thinking, I'll move everything over on Saturday to the new place. And then I was thinking about it, and then I realized, but I still have class for another week and a half. So I still need to be on campus. So maybe I should just move everything that's non-essential over, and then when I'm done with class, then move my computer and my whatever I need clothing wise over to the new place at the very end, and then have a week to kind of do a thorough cleaning of this place. So that's the plan. I think now. Originally, I was going to try to rush to have everything moved over and set up, but it's like, what's the big rush? Take the other one, mattress sledding? No, I'm in a summer sublet. So I'm renting from another student while they're away for the summer. So I could stay on campus. And it's been convenient. 96. We don't need another one though. 87, 96. These are close. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and maybe do a little 1 hour rest. Not that it matters because we're super warm all the time. And there comes the big wind. How big is the wind out here? Can we feel it? Feels like 12 degrees. It feels like summer. Okay. So we'll take a water with us. We'll take these guys. Oh, we didn't need the extra deer hide. Drop that. There's no time to make an extra thing. We don't need anything else. We'll take these. Take these. Maybe one of those. We'll take these. One of those. How are we doing now? Oh, we're under 50 still. Good. Let's see, what does this give us? This gives us no fatigue. Rose hip will help us with our fatigue. Rabbit pie. Let's have some good old rabbit pie. Find out how much of a boost it gives us. So we are at +8, so it's another +3. Okay, that's very useful. Okay, I think we've got everything we want here. Maybe we'll take a couple more torches, and... yeah, no worries. Let's take a dip in the ice. No, I don't think so. I don't think Astrid wants that. Astrid wants to go to Sundered Pass. Means we have to make a trip through Transfer Pass. And I've never been to Sundered Pass, so I'm not entirely certain what to expect other than really cool views, probably lots of werewolves, and, not werewolves, timberwolves. Werewolves, that's what they are. That's why I hate them so much. It's because they're actually not even real wolves. They're game devs dressed up as wolves. That's what it is. Are they werewolf by day and game dev at night? Or are they game dev by day, werewolf at night? Or are they werewolf game devs and they're always werewolves? Never know where the werewolves are. Where the wolves are. No, we don't. No, we don't. So yeah, so we're officially on day 38. That means we've got 12 days left in this challenge. I assume we're going to spend, we can leisurely move through. We don't really need to gather any more tea because we're so warm. Tea's really not necessary. So we've got... trying to think. I don't think there's a... Is there a workbench in here? I can't remember if there is. Airfield has a workbench. I can't remember if the, this section does. When we were in Broken Railroad, we considered hunting the bear, but one, bear spooks super easily and runs away fast. Two, we already have such good gear that we really don't need the bear.
Best be prepared for anything.
Hold on to nothing. Okay. So I think we only have about 7 working arrows and 3 fire-hardened arrows and a whole pile of arrowheads. So we'll have to be thoughtful in how we hunt. Nope. Alarm, nope.
Looks like this has been
Soda?
here a while.
Okay. Buy Broken
I can
Railroad.
barely walk with this much gear.
That's a nice little freebie. They just threw us a fully, like a full torch right there on the side, so we're good to go. Do we want to swap out our pry bars? Let's see here. Pry bar. Yeah, let's retire you. I accidentally dropped my... want my backup can, just in case. That's my emergency plan if I accidentally leave my skillet and my pot somewhere else. I'll have at least a tin can on me. But yeah. So, those of you lurking in the background, how many people are playing TLD as we speak? Some people come in and they kind of like one eye on watching me play, one eye playing their own game. Totally fine. Some people just like to chill and fall asleep to the sound of the wolves and poor Astrid struggling through the snow. It's fine. Apparently some people come in just to listen to my voice and fall asleep. That's okay too. But if you do have questions or things you want to talk about, I'm always willing to engage. We don't really do politics on this channel. Not that I don't have political views, but it's really more of a chill space. But we do talk about creative writing, literature, sci-fi, fantasy, role-playing games, computer games, artificial intelligence. I wrote a whole dissertation for my PhD on 19th century artificial intelligence and how the machine became a person in the Victorian imagination. So, read us a poem. Yeah, some people want stories, some people want me to read poetry. Happy to oblige. And you can redeem and get those, as Roller just did. So, Roller has put a request in for me to read something from Babbage's Dream, which is my second book of poetry. We're just going to hop out of this tunnel here in a second, and then we'll crack open the book and see where we go. Okay, Astrid. This is the end of the line. Right? Gotta be the end of the line. This is the end of the line. Okay. Tuck Astrid into one of these rooms and then we'll go and read a poem. Spooky sounds. Another fresh torch. Ooh. I like the mucklucks better though. This could be the end of Astrid's line, yes. Well, I mean, if we're speaking biologically, I think that's probably the case. She's looking for love in all the wrong places here. Okay. Pause now for poetry identification or poetry reading. So what we usually do for this, unless someone has a specific poem they want me to read, we usually use my poetry chooser, little JavaScript generator I wrote, that selects from my 2 books of poetry or from some uncollected work. Hey, thanks for the follow, Vesper. So let's see, what do we got? Now we're looking for something from Babbage's Dream. So far we've gotten stuff from The Lost Country of Sight, and from unfinished projects. And wow, tonight we're getting everything from the first book. Yep. Okay, we did double. Did we do double? We did double not too long ago. We'll do something else. Oh, okay, we haven't done that one for a while. Oops. Babbage departing Turin by train, 1840. So, this is a poem. This is from my second book of poetry, Babbage's Dream, published by Sundress Publications in 2017. So this revolves around the life and struggles of Charles Babbage, 19th century mathematician and computer pioneer. He designed, partially built, but never finished what would have been the first computer. There are lots of reasons why that ended up being the case, but he was absolutely obsessed and committed to this idea that when built, this machine would fundamentally and radically change the world. And he was right. He was right. He was 130 years ahead of his time, but he was absolutely right. And the computer scientists in the 1930s and 40s and 50s that were working on the first computers, they rediscovered his work and found that indeed he had addressed a lot of their concerns and questions about how to divide up the task. Like, how do you take the task of arithmetic and multiplication and things like this, these basic core fundamental level calculational things that you have to do, and redistribute them across, in his case, he was doing this across a series of columns of numbers, and that was how he distributed things. In our day, instead of using brass and gears, the first computers in the 20th century relied on, vacuum tubes and then later microchips, and used binary systems instead of his analog systems. But at the heart, the division of labor was the same thing. So this poem, Babbage departing Turin by coach, 1840, has to do with the fact that by the 1840s, Babbage had largely lost, like the general public in England had lost, they stopped believing that he was actually going to finish what he was going to work on. He became something of a laughingstock in the scientific community and in the general public. They just stopped really believing in what he was working on. And so there was kind of a crisis in that respect. But in Italy, the Italian mathematicians and the royal court were absolutely fascinated. And so they invited him to go to Italy. So that's kind of the setup for this. Babbage departing Turin by coach, 1840. Oh, I'll wear my glasses so I can read. Yeah. Your eyes turn, glancing back at the vineyards and fields, the city walls receding at a horse's steady pace. Feel in your hands still the gray texture of punch cards, the smoothness of patent locks and fine-grained tools, the simple grace of efficiency, the lines of industrial looms rattling in their call and release, their intelligent punctuation of color, or the weight of charts and diagrams, the written notes you've carried from rich homes to palaces across a continent to display, like the first clear sketches of an unknown bird or the far face of the moon. The telegraph tapping between your conversations with the king and his court. The echo of Vesuvius shifting, now twinned in the distance, even as the sun clicks down the horizon's length like a great burnished gear, You look forward again at the bridge that you will shortly cross, already stretched and thin, suspended above the gorge, and the river's silver thread, and the mail coach now slowly driven, like a piston, into the sleeve of mist. So a little behind the poem moment here. So, like I said, Babbage went to Italy at the invitation of the Italian court and royalty. And when he came there, he discovered that the king was absolutely obsessed with technology, modern advances in technology, and 100% wanted to see everything that Babbage was working on, to hear about his plans, and connected him with the brilliant minds in Italy, and just allowed him so much access, gave him such respect and deference, that Babbage was really deeply moved by the entire experience. And so that's at the heart of this, right? Is that measure, like the old adage, no prophet is honored in his own land, right? And Babbage definitely felt like that. Here he comes to a foreign country, and they get him. They totally get what he's working on. Even while at home, people have stopped believing. So there's that. And I think the other like little bits and pieces of things here, there's a lot of references to the Babbage's obsession with efficiency. He wrote something called On the Economy of Manufacturers and Machinery and Manufacturers. And basically it was all about the study. He went through and he did a lot of field research where he went, visited every factory, every manufacturing facility, every industry in England. And he studied their manufacturing processes. He studied what they used, what they threw away. He studied how different methods and approaches in one industry might actually be applicable in another industry, or how you could take what was thrown away by one factory and find a new purpose for what was deemed trash or garbage, and turn it into something that had value elsewhere in the economic chain. And so so that's kind of where all this detail about and then punch cards, obviously they originated as the means of programming automated looms, and it was Babbage that looked at that and thought, I could use that to program a computer. And so he used punch cards. In the 19th century, he was using punch cards as a means of programming and recording data and things like that. So it's really like, that's how far ahead he was. The far face of the moon is a subtle nod to the fact that there is a crater on the moon called, that is named after Charles Babbage. So there is that. Vesuvius shifting now twinned in the distance is a nod towards a medical ailment, a vision impairment that Babbage had, which was, he talks about this in some of his letters, where when he looked at things at the horizon line at a great distance, things would appear stacked up. So one thing would be on top of the other. They would double up at a distance. And the only way he could correct that, he said, is if he put his hand to his eye like this and peered through, closed one eye and peered through the other through a tiny pinhole, and he could correct that vision at a distance. Babbage actually also invented the ophthalmoscope. I can't even say it. The ophthalmoscope. Yeah, I can't say it. My mouth is tired. But basically, the device that modern optometrists use to peer at the back of your eye, like to get a view of your eye, and it's a device that Babbage invented independently. Yeah. So, and then the whole thing turns into just like a machine. He's being driven like a piston. The carriage is a piston driving into the mist and disappearing. So that's kind of the backstory for that one. So hope you enjoyed that. Oh no, not again. We got attacked by annoying bots. Goodbye. Goodbye, bots. We're doing perfectly fine without you. Oh, and back again. Look at this. Another bot. Wow. Look at these guys go. Luck. Don't you call my viewers cheap. They are not cheap. Yeah, don't dare call them cheap. All my viewers are wonderful, lovely people who are in no means cheap. I bought them each in poetry. No. Yeah, we won't bother with that. Oops. Yeah, he didn't invent that. He didn't invent the clickety-clack. But he did, the cow catcher at the front of the train that pushes debris off the tracks. That's a Babbage invention. He loved locomotives, like in the early days of the locomotive. He was out there watching the trains, listening to the trains. And he knew Bruno, who was one of the first major railway, like, designers and train designers. And so he would say, like, hey, have you thought about adding this to the train so that you don't run into this problem with stuff hitting stuff on the tracks? And Bruno's is like, that's actually a fantastic idea. Let's do that. And so that's a Babbage invention. Yeah. So the 19th century is full of these little things. Little, like, Babbage's fingerprints are on all sorts of things in the 19th century that we don't normally think about. But, like, history of photography, he's involved with that. He's involved with, like I said, trains. He's involved with that. Universal postage, that we have a universal rate for mailing stuff within a country. Babbage's idea. He was involved with early discussions around copyright, which is pretty cool too. Oh, we don't really need to do this. And what else was there? He went and saw the automaton chess player. He even played a match against the automaton chess player at one point. And after that, he came back and he kind of says in his notes that he didn't really think it was, it's not a machine that's playing chess. He says he was confident that it was a human operator. But he said, I don't think it is, basically his argument was he didn't think it was possible with the current level of technology to produce a machine that could play chess. He said, on the other hand, it is possible to produce a machine that plays tic-tac-toe. And so he then sat down and he theorized and wrote up something of a description of how someone would go about doing that. So I would argue that makes him actually probably the first computer games programmer in that respect. So if there were some specific photography impacts, no, we don't need that. Less so about being impacts and more about, like, being involved as a subject. Like, he was the first human subject for a stereoscopic photograph, which is the type of photography that you end up taking two very similar images. They're slightly at different angles, and then when viewed through a, you may have seen these little things where you put on this visor, right, and you could see, or like this head thing, and you could see like the twin photos next to each other. But when you've got your field of vision narrowed, it looks 3D. So he was the first human subject for that. So the first portrait was taken of him. They photographed other things, but that was the first portrait was done in that style. And yeah, so I think that's one of the reasons why I'd say he's tangled up in the history of photography in that respect. Oh, we forgot to check and see if that room had a workbench or just a desk. I think it's just a desk. Yeah, going back to that, on the economy of machines and manufacturers, that book was also the inspiration for Marx and Engels' Das Kapital, which was the first major critique of capitalism, and they credit Babbage. They say, like, it's his book that kind of opened up this discussion. It gave us enough information and close study of these different industries to think about how they formed, a system, which is capitalism. Why are we walking so slow? It's not like there's an indoor wind or something. We changed direction, now we walk slow. I don't know. Weird. Okay, I just want to confirm that there's no actual workbench in here. That these are just desks. It'd be helpful if there was a workbench, but I don't think there is. Oh no, I forgot to switch back. Oops. I forgot to switch the scene. Sorry, now no one knows. No one knows. Yeah, now not even Astrid, not even you guys know. So that's just a regular desk. Okay. Oops. Rookie mistake. I once did a stream where I'd accidentally left my mic off for like 45 minutes, and I just kept talking. And it was like, wow. Then I watched it afterwards and thought, wow, that was such a waste. A complete waste. Almost as bad as having the wrong scene up and there being no display of the game. Yeah. But he knows. Well, we're going to cut away here while Astrid goes and does something nefarious, and then we'll pop back in afterwards. It's like, why is Astrid cleaning up blood? What did she do? Yeah, there are no other survivors. None at all. None at all. It's like, and I did not run into Will. Not once. Nope. What do we have out here? Look at this weather. Look at this beautiful weather. Still early in the day. Should make our way over to the cave. Should we goat it or should we climb down? We'll just climb down. This one could be probably goated, right? Yeah, it's goated. Goated! Yeah, I added some Far Cry weapons into the game. Now Astrid has a rocket launcher. Let's see those Timberwolves get the better of me now. Yeah. What if we get to Sundered Pass and there's no Timberwolves either? We could only be so lucky, right? I'm not going to hold my breath on that. I know that happened on a couple of the runs when I was like originally generating them, so I have a loose memory of some runs having like next to no wildlife at all. But I don't know if this is one. This is the one that has that. Bottomless thermos. Yes, the bottomless thermos can be refilled at any 7-Eleven you come across along the way. An inflatable raft would be pretty useless. Unless you're jumping down onto it, then maybe it would make sense. Maybe not. Maybe just pop. In your chessboard adventure. Chessboard adventure? Is that a different game? Okay. Ah, okay. You're gonna run across the ice, so I'm gonna shoot, miss, hit the rocks, or hit the ice, break my arrow. Yeah. Lame. Ah! Just missed him. There's another one. Oh, I missed again. No. Got one. Nope. Oh, he ran away. Alright. Figures. It's wind. Terrible wind. What are we eating today? Acceptable venison. This weighs something. Alright. Hey. Let's go ahead.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
Let's drop a few things in here. We got all these guts that need curing. Good stuff. Rabbit. Wabbit. So normally I don't stream on Tuesday nights because I'm running a D&D game, but tomorrow night our game got moved from tomorrow night to a different night. So in theory I might be able to stream, but I also might take advantage of that time to go and drop some stuff off at my new apartment and maybe do an IKEA run. I don't know, we'll see. Like, I kind of want to, like, I should have my mattress by tomorrow, so I can take that over. And then I think I'm going to try to get a bookcase at IKEA. But it's, I'm not certain if it's the best time of day to make that trip. We'll see. I have a little bit of flexibility since I don't have any classes tomorrow. I just have work. Why do we still have these guys? So yeah, in any case, most likely there's no stream tomorrow night.
I'm on the fire.
And then Wednesday night, I believe, is when we're going to run our D&D game.
Oh yeah.
And then Thursday and Friday, I will probably be on as usual. Okay. I do have a full pack here. I forgot about that. Oh well. But yeah, I think, so the original plan was that it'd be fully moved in this weekend. I don't think that's going to happen. I think I'm going to move most of my stuff over. I'll stay here until the classes are done. So I'll leave my computer rig here and some clothes here. But I'll take all my books over. I will take any other like stuff that's not immediately needed over. And then when I actually do leave, I will have minimal stuff to take with me. That'll be nice. Like, I think I can probably take, I don't know, I have to make a list of what I need from IKEA versus what I can find locally at the end of the semester as people are moving out and leaving stuff behind or trying to sell off stuff. Like an office chair I'm trying to get, I really need to reach out and see if it's... The person's asking, I suspect, what they think is a fair price, but is not market rate for the competition, even though it is a better quality chair. So I'm going to see if I can get them to come down a little bit. Like, it's a $280 chair, but they're asking $140. I'm wondering if I can get it for $100, because school semester's almost done, and I doubt they can take it with them. So some money is better than no money. I'm not going to price gouge them and dip below 100. I think that would be feasible, but probably not the best thing to do. But we'll see. Okay. Do I want a little bit more? A couple more torch? No, that was terrible. We don't want that torch. Okay, let's see what we got here. Too much water. Alright. Sufficiently tired. Let's make our sleep. Okay, what do we got now? Only rested. Okay, that's promising. What do I want here? We're at 52. Okay. Get rid of some of these. Or why get rid of them? Why don't we just use them? We'll just use them. Okay. Then let's also see what we can do about the repair here. Might as well do the repair. Okay, a little bit less weight. Carry. So we got 1 cured hide, 3, we need 1 more. That's almost ready. That'll be 4. That'll make our travois as soon as we have our... And these are extras. In case we need to make any other repairs. Yeah, we're looking good. Do we want anything in there? Probably not. So we're just gonna go. Another flare. Got stones. Coal. Do we need more coal? No, not really. Anything useful in here? Nope. We're 3.5 over what we want to be. Other things I have to work on this month, or in August. I realize I've been neglecting my work on my Twine games, so I do need to crank that out. I've got, I'm trying to deliver The Last Librarian for the interactive fiction competition, and I had thought I would have more time to work on it, and I've just been busy with this other project with school, so that's taken up a lot of time. Oh, that just loops back around. We don't care about that. So I need to buckle down and work on that, and I need to, I think when I'm finished with this game for the class, like I said, I'm planning to rewrite it via a more robust engine, and then maybe do another project. Yeah. another parser-based game, which is something that I have not done other than the one I'm working on right now. Alright, what do we got over here? More coal. More coal. We don't need more coal. Oh, we got a little firewood. So yeah, our parser game, our kind of Zork-like adventure, text adventure game that we're working on for our class project is called the Temple of Pythagoras, which is a terrible pun on Python and Pythagoras, and our hope is that we will fill it with lots of silly jokes about Python programming.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Mathematics. Or triangles. Probably just triangles. Okay, we really don't need this. Save our torch for later. I think we have some soda to drink as well. No, we still have another soda. Where are we at? Day 39. So got a lot of walking to do. So we got to keep an eye out and see if we can find some maple saplings, because we need 4 maple saplings. And I would love to have that before, well, like have a working travois before we travois before we get into Sundered Pass. It would be so much easier if we could just move our extra weight onto the travois instead. Travois? Travois. I keep thinking it should be travois. Bois? Travois? Bois? Oiseau? Yeah. Roi. Roi. Le roi. Le roi. Travois. Should be travois. But then maybe it's like foyer and foyer. It's like when a French word comes into English long enough, the corruption of the pronunciation becomes the new pronunciation. So like you go through the States, you know, the greeting area or front area in an establishment, whether it's a, you know, there's usually some seating there. It's like in a church or in a, I'm trying to think where else I've seen it. Maybe bank. It's called the foyer or the foyer, depending on where you're from. The French would pronounce F-O-Y-E-R, foyer. And in Canada, that's actually how we say it most of the time. I guess this is also why we have we pronounce garage, because it is closer to the French, garage. Whereas, like, the British would say garage. I really, like, every time I see this Steely Chasm, I think that someone missed out calling this Steely Dam, D-A-M, chasm, and it would have been a nice little musical nod to Steely Dan. But maybe that's too much. Steely Dam. Creedence Clearwater. Your garage is a mirage. Like if we carry our canoe from one river to another river across some sort of land obstruction, it's called a portage. We carried it. Miss. Oh, he moved. He shifted his angle. One creature. Where's our arrow at? Ran away. Do we need more hides? Do we need more meat? Maybe a little bit more meat. Yeah, we say garage, we say portage, but we also say message and not message. Although we do say dressage, talking about the horse riding sport. Very confusing.
This stuff will come in handy.
Ooh, the miner's flashlight. Do we want it? Only good during an aurora. Nope, we don't want it. And then we pay, well, we say fromage. The fromage dommage. But it's different from dommage. We call it fromage. And we don't say postage, because that would be weird. I tried to mail you a letter, but I had insufficient postage. It just sounds weird. Ooh, tired. Collage, we say. Yeah, we do. I keep forgetting that. Probably should drink the last pot that we have. Okay, I think we're going to just drop off some stuff here. Everything's so close. And what do we have here? So we have two. Okay. Okay, we're going to hunt that rabbit. There he is. Oh, missed him. Thought we had a pretty good shot on him. playing hide and seek, are we? Ah! Dodged out of the way. Where are you going, buddy? What is that? That was a dodge again. Ah, missed that. I moved the shot. I shouldn't have moved the shot. Little bunny, where are you? Well, there he is. Oh, just missed him again. Ah, I spooked him. He's sneaking up on me. They turn directions again. Changed again. Then he ran away again. Yeah. It's just too hard to hunt him like this. We've had some success, it just feels painful. Such a fidgety bunny. Will not stay still. He does that again. Yeah, too short. I'm gonna come out of there. Yeah. He sensed me. It's just so terrible. It's like we're not carrying scent and still so easy to spot. Too short this time. Oh, he's going to go up against the rock, of course. Yep. Where's our arrow up here? Did we lose an arrow? That's embarrassing. Where did we lose that arrow? There it is. Yeah, I think it's probably time to give up on the rabbit hunt. It's time for us to go and get our own sleep. Anyways, this is a good place to stop for the night. We got a good cave. The next section's a little bit longer to walk through, so don't really want to do that tonight. I want to get some sleep. Almost there. Oh, we'll probably read one more poem before we wrap up. Rest in bed. Okay, here we go. Good time for Astrid. Okay, brand new day. Okay, so let's see what we got here. We are at 40 days survived. Pick up our stuff here. Okay, we'll pass the time to mark our start for the end of tonight's stream. There we go, there's your save. So we are on now day 40. So we only got 3 days further tonight, but had some longer streams over the last few days, so that's okay. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so 40 days. We are 10 days left on our challenge. Let's read one more poem before we wrap up. We're forgetting to fill up in Saskatoon. Okay, so this is kind of a classic. This is from my first book of poetry, The Lost Country of Sight, published by Anhinga Press in 2008. Winner of the Philip Levine Prize in 2007. This poem is, well, it's about the Canadian prairies. It's about being a kid and not, well, being a teenager and not always planning too far ahead. Let's see where we go here. Okay, here it is. Forgetting to fill up in Saskatoon, which is in the Canadian prairies. That's in Saskatchewan. We ran on empty for an hour. 3 boys in a borrowed car, miles away from anywhere but these dead farm towns, without street lamps or oil, just burnt out gas stations, and the low moans of cattle shifting in the dark. Dry as December, we coasted all the way home, whispering prayers and holding our breath as if to lighten the load, till the faint lines of the city rose at the edge of our view, like the far-off fires of a familiar shore, and we pulled ourselves in, weary men, tired of the sea. So the origin story for this one is there are 2 big cities, big relatively speaking, 2 big cities in Saskatchewan, Saskatoon and Regina. Regina is the capital city. Saskatoon is further north, and it's actually a little larger than Regina. And there was one time when I was a teenager, and my friend Justin had just gotten his driver's license. The 3 of us were all like 16 years old. We had a meeting in Saskatoon that we were going to, I think it was church related. It might have been scout related. I think it was church related. So we drove from Regina to Saskatoon, and then on the way back, which is about, I'll give you a sense of distance, that's or time at least. It's I want to say 2.5, 3 hours, and midpoint between the 2 cities is a small town named Chamberlain. Chamberlain's, claim to fame is really that they have gas stations at the midpoint between the 2 cities. So if you're leaving and you didn't have a full tank in one city, you almost certainly will have to fill up in Chamberlain before you arrive at the next city. And so what happened was we had driven from Regina to Saskatoon, had our meeting, and then we'd gotten in our car. My friend Justin had driven, and we drove back, and Justin forgot to fill up in Chamberlain. So we ended up driving, and about an hour after we passed through Chamberlain, we realized that the fuel gauge was low, like super, super low. It was pretty close to empty, and we still had like another 45 minutes, almost an hour to go before we got back into the city limits for where we were headed to. And so we and we tried. There was like one small town that we passed by, and we like coasted in, hoping that the gas station was open. There were no gas stations in that town. There was nothing there. And so we just coasted in and out. There were parts of the trip, like the last leg, where we would stick it into neutral and just use the momentum of the car to keep going. Like, I now know that most of these tricks will do nothing. And what else? I don't know. Just in general, we felt like we just hold our breath. Will we be light enough? Will we just coast in? But there's this sense of anxiety and fear, and fear of failure, fear of being stranded and isolated. And so, yeah. And then at the same time, when the city lights finally come into view and you realize we can make it. Now, in Saskatchewan, that's deceptive because you really can see your destination. It's so flat. You can see your destination usually about 40 minutes before you arrive in. So it was about half an hour, 40 minutes before we arrived in. But we can start seeing the edge of the city, and it's like, oh, this might actually work. We might actually make it. But there was like a good half an hour, 40 minutes. Yeah, half an hour, almost 40 minutes before we saw the city lights, where we really didn't know if the car was going to make it. It's like, so moral of the story, as my mother always says, is there are very few things you can control when you're in your car. A lot of things happen, your car breaks down, you don't have control over. But she says the one thing you do have control over is your fuel. So it's just that you should never run out of fuel. It's just like, it should not happen. It's like you should be always paying attention, and always, when you get a chance, top off the tank. Whenever you're down to the last quarter or half tank, look for an opportunity to fill up. And as an adult, I have really appreciated that wisdom. When I'm traveling long distances, when I get down to the quarter tank, I'm always looking for a place to fill up, because it makes no sense to me to try to squeeze out the last quarter tank, which I always feel is different from the top of the tank. The top of the tank seems to go on forever and ever. The last quarter is just it's just full of anxiety. Really, is what it is. It's just hopefully we can get by, and we did. We survived. We made it, but yeah, I do remember that as being sort of a very important moment in childhood, where we left as kids, as teens, and when we arrived in, we were much more sober about, yes, there's a reason why people always tell you to fill up before you go. It's like, yes. And you not being too lazy or not paying attention is not an excuse. You just got to do it. So we learned. Yeah, and somehow that ended up becoming a poem. So I guess it's a poem about coming of age, and realizing responsibilities, right? Let's figure out who we can go raid. Speaking about responsibilities, we have a responsibility to support our community. And so we are going to do that. We're going to find some wonderful person to raid. Let's see who's out there that we could visit. Well, I guess Deadpool's up. Let's see. Deadpool, I think, just started up their stream. So let's, we can go join. Okay, let's do that. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. We're going to get ready to head over to Deadpool. Deadpool's one of the, I guess, one of the OGs in TLD playing and streaming. See him around a lot. He's fantastic as a player. Very entertaining on stream. And, yeah, a lot of fun to watch. Really talented. So we're going to go support our fellow TLD streamer, and wish them all the best. I'm going to be back. I think I'll be back, let's say Thursday night. There's a possibility. So maybe you'll get lucky and I'll be on tomorrow night, but most likely it's going to be Thursday night before I'm back on. And that's really just because this week is kind of crazy with end of semester stuff and trying to get stuff settled into the new place. But yeah, we'll see you all soon. Take care, and we'll see you on the other side of the rain.